Guys, welcome back. This is Module 2. My name is Coder J, and we're going to continue right where we have been. This is a new module. We've done a lot of work so far. It's still early in the course. We're still here in the community. Welcome back as we continue another good module and a continuation of the path in screenwriting with Coder J and this community. This community is the Screenwriting Storytelling Lab. It's a lab where we talk and write and work on different exercises like log lines presented to us. The whole point of a lab is so that we can work through the semantics of the writing. We can make mistakes and correct things. That's the whole point, right? So make a mistake, go back and see what you can do to correct it. Any mistake that would be related to the language, right? But the focus is creative writing here continually. The path extends continually here. Repetition is continual. We will always come back to the semantics. We're going to be focusing a lot on the semantics in Module 5. You already know that there's a path. And again, welcome to the course. Welcome to the community. You've done well by joining this community because there's a path here. There's a community here. You're working with me. This is Coder J. I've worked with a lot of writing. I've done a lot of general purpose writing. Okay, up to this point in my career at this point, right? So I've been doing a lot of general purpose writing, a lot of different projects and different languages, including coding languages. But again, like I have been saying, I'm dedicating this course to screenwriting. So, the other language, the coding language, is something different. But right now, let's focus on Module 2. New exercise, new module, something new to talk about as we continue in foundational work. Okay. Continuing in foundational work by Module 10, that's when we start really buckling down and writing a full screenwrite for a screen, a full screenplay. So let's see what's going on with Module 2. And here we go. Welcome back to the community. Welcome back again. So we're going to talk about more about structure, more about the narrative. Remember the third person action narrative lines? All of that is very important to detail those action lines. Okay, so let's see what those action lines are all about. Let's just talk about it. This is basically our work area. This is our lab area. It could be used as a traditional board, or we also write the screenplay here and we take notes here and we treat it just like anything. Anything that you know from a classroom. Okay, so Module 2. So third person action narrative lines. Okay, so when, for example, so we've been doing some writing. That's why I like to always start with some kind of writing or some kind of exercise. So even in the introduction we wrote. So now you can look at Module 2 and not be really that lost or anything. And that's why you did well choosing this course, because you already know what that is. All right. So I introduced you early in the intro, right? See? So let's pull an example. Okay. So let's say we're introduced to a character. So I'm just going to write some third person action narrative line here. figure, which means we're introduced to the figure. So a lone figure stands at the edge. Okay. Let's go ahead and give a scene heading. This is just an example, right? We're just, these are notes, sorry. Coastal cliffs, sunset. We're at the edge, and we have a character, and we want a name. So we can say Vera, okay? Vera. Vale, I guess it could be the name of this character. A woman in her 30s. So this is how you can build on your third person action narrative lines. And we have worked on this already. This is just, more review. So she's gripping a leather journal. Okay, so this is, again, always good note taking, straight off the cuff when you write this. So think about it. Think it through. A lone figure stands at the edge, introduced to Vera Vale, a woman in her 30s, gripping a leather journal. So that's a good example as we continue on how to write a third person action narrative line in detail, right? So we can always expand on what we've done, what we're doing as we get ready for modules in the future, which means that you're dealing with more detail. Okay. As we make it to the modules later on, like 10 and beyond, the expectation is that we have more detail in our writing, good flow, and even the grammar is corrected and stuff like that. But understand that this is all rough, off the cuff, rough draft, spontaneous writing for the lab. So it's a lab again. So I specify lab because that's how the course runs. It's hands-on. See, so we'll just we'll keep running it that way and always write along. So what do we have here? The third person action narrative. A lone figure stands at the edge, a Vera Vale, a woman in her 30s, gripping a leather journal. So we know that this is part of the story. And we're going to continue with the rest of the constructs to make that story. And we were introduced to that already. So you can start thinking now, what can I do with this Vale character, right? So this is just some note taking at this time. So we're setting up for a Vale that there might be a confrontation that might happen, a resolution, turning point, a twist, a turn, an incident as she's on the coastal cliff. So let's assume, and we're going to start writing here in a minute, Vera Vale is our character, right? So let's assume that she is a part of an action genre. So it's a thriller action thing that we're going to deal with, a journey that she's on. And we're going to see her journey as she begins on the coastal cliff. Okay. So that is kind of where we are. So here we are in our lab, module 2, 1, 2, title 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in our thriller action. So that's me testing things out on our tab 8. Remember our tab 8? So don't forget about our tab 8. See, tab 8. So that's what we're always testing for indents and alignment, right? So alignment is very important. That's why tab 8 exists in this community. That's why there's a thing called tab 8 that I've implemented as Coder J here. It's very important that this proprietary environment will help when you get out there. I'm pretty confident that I would have helped you get that extra boost in your screenplay journey or career, depending on where you're going. If you're outside, if you move outside of the lab, venturing off, right? Moving on. You found your career, right? I want to know that I added value for you, right? That you can say, hey, Coder J gave me that boost, right? So in time, we'll see all that come together. The end result is always something non-monetary and fulfilling, if you will, right? Creating the story and getting where you want to be, right? So tab 8 is what you're going to find here in this lab to help you align things, literally align your text. Very, very important. Written by 1, 2, 3, 4 you. Okay, so that's our style, right? We've got tab 4 here. Tab 4 exists right here. Tab 1, 2, 3, 4, tab 4. That's 4 spaces from tab 8. And now we're ready to begin. Ready to begin now. Okay, so we are on the coastal cliffs. It's an action thriller, if you will. And a little figure stands at the edge, and a woman in her 30s gripping a leather journal. Okay, so we're gonna try to get a log line here in a second. Let's go ahead and see if we can embed a log line for our problem in module 2. We'll get that going in a second. This is for our title. We are in the lab, and we will go ahead and get everything set up for our exercise. So we have a title written by you. We're on the coastal cliffs. We're just above the ocean waters. We're looking down on the waves here. So the waves, crash just below the rocks. And 3, 1, 2, 3. So we know Avera has been introduced. 2, 2, 3. So using our tab 8, tab 8, tab 8, tab 8, tab 8, tab 8, tab 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Parenthetical 1, 2. Okay, is our dialogue. So we get the idea. So you're adding a parenthetical here, and we're ready to begin, almost ready to begin. So again, we have our, third person narratives. We've got our tabs. We've got our alignment. We have our scene heading. We have action thriller, which means that there's a hero involved in this, there's a journey involved in this, twists and turns. Curvilinear storytelling is kind of what I'm going to call it here right now. Definitely not straightforward. It's a twist and turn situation, and you're going to see that play out by module 10. So we have a little ways to go on how we're going to get twists and turns working in different scenes. As we build the scenes, you'll see, we're going to figure out, multi-path creative writing, as we make our way into the more interesting stuff as soon as possible. Again, guys, it's still very early in the course. This is module 2. So take your time in the lab. Okay, take your time in the lab here with Coder J, which means you write and you write and you write a lot. Repetition and so on. So, guys, at this point, we have a situation where Avera is on the coastal cliff and there's something going on. So so here's our log line. Okay. I'll embed the log line here for our practice, right? This is just for our edification, just embedding it into our exercise. But typically we won't do that when we write the real thing. So that's what we're going to work with here. After witnessing a terminal situation on the remote coastal cliff, so something happened, action thriller situation. Somebody, got attacked or something. It's terminal. A disgraced ex-Special Forces operative becomes a target of a relentless manhunt and must expose the conspiracy before the killers erase every witness, so they think it's him, right? In this exercise, so I think it's him. So we'll figure out who Avera is. Avera is a woman. We'll see who she is. And who is the Special Forces guy, if you will. So that's what we have to do. We have to take the log line and figure it out. So there's a method to my madness, right? All this lab work, the lab environment stuff going on here. This method that I use, this pedigree that I'm talking about, you're going to see how it all comes together, real soon. We have to take what we have in that log line and figure it out. That's all we have. This is how you get better. There's no crutch. There's no AI helping us. There's no outline. It's a log line. Coder J uses log lines, just quick exercises, and also log lines for the full thing too, for the full screenplay as well. So we're going to be working through a lot of genres and a lot of different things to write, right? So we'll get there, right? So let's see what we can do. You already had some practice in the intro, so you know how things are formatted already. You should have done some homework on it already and practice and stuff like that, and it should be fun, right? You should be writing and it should be fun by now. So what's going on here? All right, so we have Avera as introduced. She's calmly standing there, calmly. Okay. I didn't think you would have actually shown up here. I was about to leave. Okay. The waves are making louder crash noises in the distance. Okay, let's see here. Gavin, a man in his mid-40s, is standing right there. So we're introduced to Gavin. Okay, on the cliffs. Okay, we're on the cliffs here. So Gavin is ready. 2, 3. Really need your help. Okay, if there ever was a time, so make sure we're getting our spelling right. Gavin, you don't need to start that right now. I'm afraid I don't understand. They're after me. So okay, so we're just to just practice your dialogue, keep it flowing. Okay. After you. So what do you want me to do? So we're gonna find want you to call some people. Right. So I'm flowing now here in module 2 a lot faster. Flow, right. Okay, and that's what I've been talking about. This is not like you. You're out of character. You're always okay. Oh, we'll go back. Right, always so composed and ready for battle. Yeah. So here we go. Gavin, not looking impressed, starts pacing around the rocky area. All right, so let's go back up. I'm going to, as we work on our log line exercise, right here in module 2. All right, guys, welcome back. This is not like you. You're out of character. You're always so composed and ready for the battle. So I want you to call some people. We talked about this. So let's find an adverb that matches his emotion. And we've been working on our parentheticals a lot, which is very good, guys. So he's a little, I guess you can say, a little eager here. If you can find a better adverb, feel free, of course. Back to the top. So this is where we break some things down some more. What we're writing, what we're doing, what we're exercising in, what we're in lab 4. Log line. Okay, we're going to correct some things if we need to correct some things. If there's a scene heading or a third person narrative or a word, then we're going to correct it if we need to. A letter, punctuation, or just the creative logic, right? So title, thriller, action written by you. Log line. After witnessing a terminal situation on the remote coastal cliffs, a disgraced ex-special forces operative becomes the target of a relentless manhunt and must expose the conspiracy before the killers erase every witness. So we're starting off right there. Waves are crashing. It's noisy. It's sunset. We are fading in. Okay, fade in, of course. So it should be a nice fade in. So I'll scroll down a bit. A nice fade in for the screen, right? So here we go as we start and edit and do the lab work, right? That's the whole point. Okay, work it, build it. It's a lab work. It's okay, make a mistake, try again, like that. Okay, it's not perfect literature right away or something, right? Just write freely and just kind of let it flow. So let's work through it, right? Fading in, think about the screen, coastal cliffs, sunset, fading in. That, you know, those of you that are going to go into film, think about what you're writing for as you work with those guys, right? So lone figure introduced at the edge, a Vera Vale, a woman in her 30s, gripping a leather journal. Pretty cool. That's a good little vision there. I can envision that already on the screen for some of you. You know, and even for the actors and so on. It's pretty cool how it all comes together. But here we are writing for that experience, right? Think about sitting in the theater, right? And you're fading into the coastal cliffs, it's sunset, and it's some movie, and a lone figure stands at the edge. You know, we're creating this in the lab here, in this lab with Coder J right now. A lone figure introduced, right? Holding that leather journal, right? The waves crash just below the rocks. That's a good little. That looks good, and you know that's a good vision there, right? It sounds like a good start. Calmly, right away, as you're eating that popcorn. I didn't think you would have actually shown up here. I was about to leave. I didn't think you would. I didn't think you would have actually shown up here. I was about to leave. Okay. All right. So the waves are making louder crash noises in the distance. Gavin, a man in his mid-40s, is standing right there. I really need your help. If there was ever a time. Gavin, you don't need to start that right now. You know, you don't need to tell me, you know, start that right now or tell me that right now. I'm afraid I don't understand. They're after me. I know they're after you. So what do you want me to do? All right. So this is a nice thriller, action thriller here, right? Some good action thriller, good environment right now. Pretty cool. I can see it already. That's also all part of the writing process. See the screen as well. It's pretty cool. I really need your help if there was a time. Gavin, you don't need to start that right now. I'm afraid I don't understand. They're after me. I know they're after you. So what do you want me to do? Okay, so we can kind of work on that. Eagerly, I want you to call some people. We talked about this. This is not like you. You're out of character. You're always so composed and ready for the battle. Okay, so do you realize if we don't act now, right? Okay, so let's keep going. Get yourself out of this mess. Something like that, right? Okay, so continuing dialogue techniques. Did you bring the thing I asked you to bring? All right, so here we go. Setting up some more constructs here. I have the maps. Okay, moving down a little bit. Another third person action narrative coming right up for the next part. And then we'll step through some things and probably get ready for module 2B as soon as possible, which extends this log line a little bit more. So Gavin reaching for the maps is able to get a hold of them quickly. Vera. Okay. Continue. So we talked about continued, right, before? Okay. Gavin. Okay, so let's get some emotion here. Did you bring the thing I asked you to bring? Okay, there's a motion, there's a parenthetical, I have the maps. Gavin reaching for the maps is able to get a hold of them quickly. Well, that's rude. Continuing, right? Vera, these are not the maps I requested. So something happened on the coastal cliffs where they think it's Gavin that did it, right? In this particular logline example that we're working on. They think it's him. But he didn't do it, right? He's innocent. So this is just a quick example for our lab work here in module 2. There's going to be a module 2B following this shortly or right after this, right? So we're going to continue to write this one. And I'll stop here and we'll break it down for the next 5 minutes and take a stopping point for module 2. We'll keep this one timed appropriately, okay, at about the time that it's running here, the running time of this module. We have a lot to do. So think about it, guys. Before I, put a parenthetical there, think about what you want to put there. I'm going to look for something here. It's a calm reaction to Vera is a calm, cool, collected character. If you haven't realized that by now. And we're going to find something that matches that calmness or that confidence, or if you will, that Vera is, showing here already. And I'll find a term for that. All right, so let's go back to the top here and break things down. We'll finish up module 2 here in a few minutes. Getting ready for module 2B, which is us continuing our story here. And so we're on the coastal cliffs. It's all about these. Today's all about these descriptive narrative action lines, right? So a lone figure stands at the edge, a fair veil, a woman in her 30s. So if there's a takeaway for today, it's just really this line here. Get good third person, strong action narratives going. Okay. So again, guys, we're not writing a long story yet. We're just breaking things apart in small pieces and just kind of talking about the different things before we continue in each module as we go forward. The waves crash just below the rocks calmly. Okay. I'm not seeing any any grammatical issues right now. So we'll see what we can continue as we continue. So I don't think you would have actually shown up here. I was about to leave. The waves are making louder crash noises in the distance. Gavin, a man in his mid-40s, is standing right there. I really need your help if there ever was a time. Gavin, you don't need to start that right now. I'm afraid I don't understand. They're after me. I know they're after you. What do you want me to do? I want you to call some people. We talked about this. This is not like you. You're out of character. You're always so composed and ready for the battle. Gavin, not looking impressed, starts pacing around the rocky area. Where are we? on the coastal cliffs. It's sunset. Pretty cool. Like I mentioned earlier. Nice, right? I like that a lot. I like to envision our scene, build the scenes, right? Build the scene. And we're going to see that later on, in other modules where we're building the scene, if not already. We're doing a lot of that already in our early modules, right? In these introduction modules, right? So do you realize if we don't act now, Gavin, you're special forces. Find a way out. Get yourself out of this mess. Did you bring the thing I asked you to bring? I have the maps. Gavin reaching for the maps is able to get a hold of them quickly, kind of grabs them. Well, that's rude. Continued. Vera, these are not the maps I requested, right? So we're going to, stop here for now. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else we need to do for our module to start. And this is generally where we are right now. Eventually, we're going to get to some twists and turns, and you'll see some things in this lab. We're going to work on some things in this lab. It should get pretty cool. Again, think about the journey that we're going to take in this community. And again, welcome, right? So there's our log line. We're on the coastal cliffs. Guys, welcome back. Okay, let's take a small little, I guess you can say, intermission here before module 2B. This is Coder J. Thanks for being a part of this community. We're witnessing a terminal situation on the coastal cliffs. Remote, something happened here. They're in the place where this thing actually happened. Gavin is a special, forces guy that's talking to his counterpart. We believe that Avera works closely with him. She's also probably part of the, part of the department, part of the, the department that he's in, if you will. Okay, his section, okay, of the military, if you will. And they're meeting in private. They're meeting on the coastal cliff. They've got a conversation. They're meeting about something. So module 2, right? The takeaway. All about setup, confrontation, what we're trying to resolve. Those third-person narrative action lines in more detail. Okay? More detail for those. Okay? See? Explain, as they're introduced, what their age is, what they look like, all caps for emphasis. Who are the characters in the story being introduced? Gripping a leather journal. The environment is probably just plain awesome right now. I like the way this exercise has started in module 2. Waves are crashing. So guys, that's where we are. Okay, so we're going to continue with the hero, continue with the action. This is a hero who's dealing with an incident, right? He's dealing with a situation. It's a journey. He's got the hero's journey situation where there's conflict and confrontation, and his own people are after him, and he's confiding in Avera, who's probably the only one left in his group to help him out and to clear whatever those bad guys are doing. Fade in. Coastal Cliffs, sunset. Module 2 with Coder J. Guys, we're going to get to Module 2B and continue the story as soon as possible. Again, welcome back to the community. This is our lab. This is where we're going to keep working on our log lines. This is where we are right now in the path. It's still early. Guys, again, I'll see you soon. I'll see you in the next module, module 2B coming up.